Hey guys, it's Sailor Turn Gamer, and we're here with another Anthem video. This one is a huge one. Today's update, we're talking all about loot, and luck is finally revealed. Yes, today we know how luck works. You heard it here first, people. Also, at the end of the info dump, I got a huge luck tip for any of you freelancers out there trying to stack that luck. Stay here and you'll officially be up to date on the latest in Anthem, ranging from patch notes, news and updates, community Q&A roundups, educational videos, and much more. If you're new to the channel, I'm an up-and-coming content creator, and I focus on creating educational videos for Anthem and Dauntless, a free-to-play action RPG. I also stream at twitch.tv/SailorTurnGamer, link in the description box if you ever want to catch us live. If you enjoy the video, be sure to give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Now let's get into the good stuff. The first thing we are going to talk about is the loot update that will be coming February 28th or March 1st Central US time, wherever you are. Basically, if you're watching this video, the update is probably live. Alright, so to start this thing off, the first thing we're going to talk about is the feedback that was surrounding the loot drops, and this is a summary of what they heard. So pretty much what they got was many inscriptions are not useful to the items they are attached to. Due to this, players need to get many masterworks of the same item to find good ones. Players want the frequency of masterwork drops to increase to help with the above, or they just want us to change how masterwork inscriptions work so that they are more useful. So based off of that, again, this is just a summary. There's a lot more feedback that they got, but that's just a summary of what they got, and based off of that is what they used to make some of the changes that we are getting February 28th or March 1st, depending on where you are. So inscriptions are now better for the items they are on. This applies to new items earned in Anthem, not the ones existing in your vault. If an inscription applies only to the item it is on, the gear icon, it will be useful to that item. Otherwise, inscriptions will provide a javelin a wide benefit. So if you guys don't know, if you look at the main stats on each of the items in the game, there's either like a little man or a little javelin guy that indicates that that particular main stat applies to the entire javelin. Or there could be a small little gear icon instead, which means that that stat applies specifically to whatever it is that it is on. For example, I have like this pulse blast thing, and it comes with a little gear stat that has 150 plus gear damage. So that means that damage specifically applies to that attachment, not my entire javelin. Moving on. They also give an example in itself. So, for example, if you have an assault rifle, that assault rifle will not have an item specific plus pistol damage inscription. It may have a plus electric damage suit wide inscription for the entire javelin, meaning that that assault rifle could be potentially used for a lightning build if that's something that you wanted to create. So we have some more information below as well. They removed uncommon, also known as whites, and commons, also known as green items from level 30 drop tables. Not gonna happen anymore. It was highly requested, and so they made the change, and they agree that that's something that they do not want to see anymore in the level process past 30. They also reduced the crafting materials needed to craft a masterwork from 25 embers to 15. They dropped it by 10. That's awesome, by the way. As you salvage or harvest, you should be able to craft more masterwork items to get the inscriptions that you're looking for. Now that inscriptions are more relevant to their items, this should yield better results for the players. What that means is if you don't have a harvest build, you better get one. Now is the time. With the gear that's going to be dropping and its relevancy, it's time to build a harvest build. We will be coming out with a harvest build on the channel in the future, so stay tuned for that. We also have some additional inscription changes as well. Basically, it's hard to write a short version of this, so they try to write a shorter version of that. Currently, there are a large pool of inscription options available to roll your items on. The inscription pool is generic. Every masterwork item has 4 inscriptions: major primary, minor primary, major secondary, minor secondary. The change: each item type now has a specific set of inscription options for each of their inscription pools. The pools are smaller and are targeted to a specific item type. As an example, there used to be a weapon pool. Now there is an assault rifle pool, and an assault rifle pool has 4 pools for each of the inscription types listed above. So it is they streamlined the process basically. So there's no need to worry about, man, how did I get this assault rifle that has shotgun damage on it with heavy pistol damage on it? It just doesn't make any sense. Well, that will no longer be happening anymore. You can pretty much guarantee that if you get a weapon, it's going to have stats that are relevant to that weapon. So it may not be useful for the build that you're using when you got the weapon or when you got the component, but it's useful for a particular build that you could use down the line. So that's a great change that they made to that. I'm loving that already. Now, primary inscriptions are focused on damage or survivability. Just to clarify that, any item-specific inscriptions, the gear icon that we were talking about earlier, will always benefit the item that they're on. Javelin-wide inscriptions, which is the little suit guy that we were talking about as well, that will benefit damage or survivability across the whole javelin. Secondary inscriptions will focus on utility and can be targeted to the item, the gear icon that we're talking about, or the entire javelin. So your primary stats are going to be damage or survivability. Those are your choices. And then your secondary stats are going to be focused on utility. So it's going to be great for the game because now they're making it so much easier to be able to create a variety of more builds rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping that you're getting what you need. That is a fantastic change as well. So as we go through the rest of this, we actually had Ben Irving, the lead producer for BioWare. He actually responded to a question, and we're going to talk about that right now. So Gorilla Dump, he had a question that was, any update on making GM2 and GM3 worth going through? The drop chances of Masterworks and Legendaries is not that much more noticeable in GM2 and GM3 to warrant such a daunting task. Basically, yeah, if you guys haven't made it there yet, right now GM1 is pretty much where the majority of the player base is, because there's no real incentive to doing GM2 hunts, to doing GM3 hunts. It's just not there. But Ben Irving did let us know that he's looking into that right now. He understands that there's a problem with that, and hopefully we can expect some more information on that down the line. Murphy at ESQ, he also had something that I thought was interesting. He said, I quote, "I believe that adjusting/correcting the drop rates in GM2/GM3 will go a long way to help both loot and the health of the game. If we use GM1 to gear up for GM2, then GM2 to farm God rolls to get into GM3, the progression makes much more sense. And hopefully GM3 will have an increased legendary drops chance as well." Me personally, I think that is a fantastic idea, and I hope that that's something that they can actually do down the line, because that definitely gives you some kind of a pathway when it comes to grinding and progressing within the game. Awesome. So now where we are at this particular point is my favorite part in the video, is we are now going to talk about luck. Yes, luck was revealed recently, and now we're going to talk all about it. So those of you that aren't familiar with luck is just your chance of being able to have a drop rate and rarity. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because Brendan Holmes, BioWare's technical design director, he spoke on that, and we got a little screenshots here and there to talk about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this bit of information. So to start things off, Brendan Holmes, he pretty much gave a summary of how luck works. It's threshold based. The last threshold is once you get over 190, and it affects drop rate and rarity. Then shortly after that, he actually rolled out the threshold tiers to give you a better idea how it works. So a member of the Reddit community also had a question. He wanted to know if it would be possible to throw out that tier, and he did that. So basically every javelin, every freelancer starts off with a base tier of 100 luck, and that tier goes all the way up to 190 plus. That is the highest you can go, and it is shown there. And all that means is that when you're building your javelin, what you want to do is try to have pieces of gear on that can give you 90 luck. If you can get 90 luck, then in total you'll have 190 luck, which is the maximum amount that you can go. You can go higher than that, but all you need is 190, and you'll have the maximum amount of luck that is required for trying to get the best drops. Keep that in mind, guys. That's big stuff. Also, something that I wanted to highlight as well as we go through this, another member of the Red community had something to say that I thought was very important. Luck as a stat should not be a thing. I should be gearing my character to do more damage, kill stuff faster, not gearing to get more / better drops. Doing crap damage and being carried by a team to more drops, kind of silly. I feel like I'm cheating myself when I put on that better DPS gear because I just lost 30% luck. That isn't how it should work. Now, Brendan Holmes responded to that, which is why we're talking about it right now. Brendan Holmes says, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think it's something that we'll have to have in more discussion going forward. I'll make sure to kick this along the system, guys. Now, I wanted to talk about that primarily because he responded, but also because I agree with that. I don't think that luck should be something that you have to be concerned with when building your character, because it takes away so many more pieces of gear in the game, and it takes away damage. It takes away building for builds to have a level of creativity when every build in the game essentially is going to have luck, because you always want to be able to try to put yourself in a position to get gear. I don't think that should be something that's possible. Now, with that, we also have someone else who had a great idea. If anyone's watching this video, be sure to share this anywhere you can, because I think this is a fantastic idea and I would love to see something similar to this, or maybe even this particular idea in the game at one point. So someone said, clearly luck should just be a passive stat that we improve by surviving missions with Lucky Jack. And also someone said, I second this. I want this weekly side quest with Lucky Jack that will give us a bonus luck for the week. I personally agree with that. I think that is an awesome thing. If that is possible, if that's something they can implement in the game, I think that would be amazing. We all know that like I said, we start off with 100 luck. Every freelancer has 100 base luck. Now you only need 90 luck in order to reach that maximum threshold for getting the higher chance at getting a rarity of masterworks and so on and so forth while playing the game. Now I think it would be great if you had to do in a week, maybe you had to do like 3 missions with Lucky Jack that were 3 missions with Lucky Jack that were difficult, or maybe you could do missions with Lucky Jack that are tiered just like normal, and if you do maybe one GM1 gives you X amount of luck and so on and so forth, and then you can do enough to get 90 luck and it'll stack up for the entire week, so that way throughout that week you have 190 luck if you do the certain amount of quests with Lucky Jack. I think that would be an awesome thing, and I've second, third, fourth, and 1,000th that. If you guys agree with that, please let me know in the comment section below. And the very last thing that I want to discuss is something that we talked about in a previous video, and I'll just post that image here, and it's about the Light of the Legion. If you guys have this gun and you still have it in your inventory, this is the perfect time to use this gun as a stat stick, especially if you guys have a primary weapon that you love, or if you have a build that's ability focused. This is the perfect time to use that. This weapon comes with 35% luck. Do not break this weapon down. I spoke about this before. As far as we know, there's no blueprint for this. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but as far as we know, outside of there being no blueprint, if you delete it, there's no way to get it back, and it comes with 35% luck. Now we talked about this, you only need 90, so that's a large majority of the luck that you need. It's a great gun to use as a stat stick, so if you have it, keep it and use it. So with that, guys, I just want to say, if you made it this far in the video, thank you. I really appreciate you being here, and it definitely goes a very, very long way. Stay here for all things Anthem, and if any of you guys are interested in that type of coverage, we're going to be covering everything Anthem for many, many years to come. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Until then, this sailor be out in the open ocean. Peace.